Hello my friends, happy Saturday to you and welcome once again to the Romano Report. So Donald Trump was on with Joe Rogan yesterday. Now I didn't watch the whole thing, I'm not going to do that to myself, but I did see many clips online and I want to talk about one in particular. Now first of all, the clips that I saw are just what we've come to expect from Donald Trump. The man is a rambling buffoon. He has no idea what he's talking about on almost any given topic. He lies as he breathes. So it was, it was a train wreck of an interview, which alone would probably destroy the campaign of any normal person. But as we know, the political rules don't apply to Donald Trump. But I saw this one particular clip where they were talking about tariffs and the income tax. And Joe Rogan asked him, is it true that you really want to eliminate all income tax and just have tariffs? And Trump said, yeah, sure, why not? Now, I don't know how much more in depth they went into it. I don't know what kind of follow-up questions, if any, Joe Rogan had. Not the point. Let me just deal with the stupidity of that suggestion. Now I know most of you understand how stupid that is, but let's really talk about how that would be in practice and why not only would it not work, it would not raise a single dollar in tax revenue. Now think about, if we're going to replace the income tax, think about how much money we would have to generate from tariffs in order to completely eliminate the income tax. We would have to generate trillions and trillions. I think we spend like $7 trillion every year. We bring in about $5 trillion in tax revenue, and we add about $2 trillion to the debt every year. It's a disaster, but that's the way things are going right now. Of course, it's gotten a little better since Donald Trump left. He ran up the biggest deficits in all of American history. So it's actually not quite $2 trillion a year, but still, our spending and our debt spending is way out of control. So if we're gonna get to a zero deficit, meaning that we raise enough taxes to pay for our spending, we'd have to raise about $7 trillion from tariffs, or even just to replace the income tax at the level that we have revenue now, we'd have to raise about $5 trillion from tariffs. Now, in order to do that, you would have to put insane tariffs on every single... I hope you guys can hear me, it's pretty windy out here. I didn't realize it was going to be quite so windy. But we would have to put insane levels of tariffs on every imported good. Now understand how tariffs are collected and paid. Donald Trump likes to say that foreign countries pay the tariffs. That's ridiculous. Foreign countries don't pay the tariffs. We have no authority to tax other countries. Imagine if we tried to tax another country, they'd laugh in our face. That's not how it works. How it works is the company that imports goods pays the tariffs. So say some company wants to sell whatever product, car, stereo, clothes, whatever it is, sneakers, doesn't matter. They want to sell a foreign product in America. So they order it from the other country, whatever company produces it in the other country, they bring it in through our ports. And at that point, the United States government taxes, adds the tariff, taxes that imported good, and it's the American importer that pays the tariff. And of course, how is the importer going to pay for it? Well, that comes from the money they get from selling the product to you. So let's say, for example, that a product costs them $80 to import, and they tack on their profit because they have to make a profit, and say that that's $20. So now we're up to $100. Well, then there's going to be tariffs on top of that. Now, Donald Trump, he has no idea what he's talking about. He just throws out numbers. Oh, it's going to be 100%, 200%, 1,000%. Well, really, if we're going to completely replace the income tax with tariffs, we're probably going to have to slap like 10,000% tariffs on everything. I mean, some ridiculously high number. So this good, which should cost you $100 because the importer pays $80, then tax on their profit of $20 because they're not doing this for nothing. They got to make a profit. So normally it would cost you about $100 in the store, right? Well, now because of the insane tariffs, maybe that product costs you $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 in the store. Something obscenely ridiculous. Well, who's going to pay $5,000 or $1,000 or whatever in crazy price for that good when you can buy the same good for like $100, maybe $120, somewhere in that neighborhood, for the same good from an American producer? The answer is nobody's gonna pay $5,000 for some product because it has ridiculous tariffs on it when they can buy the same product from an American company for $100, $110, $120. Nobody will buy the imported good when we put those ridiculous tariffs on it. So the net result will be zero. Exactly no money will be raised by the federal government in tariffs because nobody would buy those products. In fact, those products wouldn't even be for sale in America because what importer would import a good from a foreign country if they knew the United States government was going to slap a 1,000% tariff on it? Nobody would import foreign goods anymore because they know that no American consumer would buy something that's going to cost them $5,000 when it should cost them about $100. So the point is, this whole thing is so absurd. It's so absurd. And then imagine if this did happen, by the way. First of all, look around your house. See how many things that you buy are made in other countries. Made in Taiwan, made in China, made in Mexico, made in India, I mean, all over the world. Look at the tags, look at the labels on products around your house. You buy a lot of things that are imported. And oftentimes you buy them because they're the best deal, right? Well, think of how much more money you're going to have to spend when you can't purchase those products anymore. You have to purchase the more expensive products. And think about what American producers will do to their prices if they don't have to compete with these foreign producers anymore, right? If Donald Trump puts these tariffs on, there'll be no more imported goods, so American producers don't have to compete with those on price anymore, so they are free to raise their prices because they don't have the foreign competition anymore. So all you'll be able to buy is American products, and those products will be even more expensive than they are now. It's just so absurd, and it helps absolutely no one. It screws the American consumer the most. You want to talk about inflation? Just think about how much inflation will be if Donald Trump imposes these ridiculous tariffs. Forget about it. It's so absurd. And the idea that Donald Trump says this over and over and over, and he's never questioned about it in any real way. I don't know what Joe Rogan asked Trump. I don't know what kind of follow-up, but I seriously doubt he pressed him too much on the issue. And he's never challenged on this. This is absurd in the extreme. And this man, we're going to actually consider electing this man as president? You know, if a seventh grader was asked to write a paper on tariffs, and they wrote this proposal, if they said, oh yeah, we should get rid of the income tax and just put tariffs on everything to pay for everything in America. I mean, that seventh grader would get an F on their paper because it's so absurd. The teacher would tell them, you didn't listen to a word I said in class. How could you write this garbage? Yet Donald Trump is out there as a candidate for president pushing this as an actual policy. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the good news is, I think enough Americans see Donald Trump for the criminal buffoon that he is. I do not think he is going to win this election. And so we won't have to worry about that. But I understand how a lot of people are worried. I mean, it's only the future of our constitutional republic on the line, so I get the anxiety. Talked about it a lot on yesterday's video, which I'll link at the end of this video. Anyway, I'm planning on doing a video in the next couple days, so please subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't done so already. Planning on doing a video where I lay out in detail all my reasons why I believe the polls are wrong, that Kamala Harris is going to win, and that the election won't be quite as close as the polls and the pundits are telling us. So please stay tuned for that. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyways, I got to get going. It's a beautiful day, got a lot to do. I hope it is beautiful where you are, and I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. I'll talk to you again soon.